You locked in with the Locked In podcast. Flash it on me.
Podcast this week is Baby C-Mac.
Before I go move like drop, fucking that door like
Hey, what's up? What's good? Welcome to the Locked In podcast. Today we have a special guest, my friend actually, Josh P.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
How you doing today, my boy?
Oh man, I'm
Pulled up?
great, bro. Yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I didn't know you're gonna hop on today. I thought you were just like come to kick it with the homies and shit, and then you're like, bro.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think much about it. It just felt natural to sit down, man.
Right. Yeah, it does.
Have a conversation. So I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course. If you want to kind of like introduce yourself and like what you do and where you come from. And
Yeah, my name is Josh. I just moved into the Phoenix area from New York. I'm an art director, graphic designer. Just been making shit happen for like the last few years on that tip. Working in fashion, music industry, art industry, whatever's come my way, to be honest.
No, it's sick.
You know what I mean? So now just doing that out here, and happy to like link with you guys. Hopefully we can make some stuff happen too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the plan.
How's that transition been for you going from like New York to a place like here?
It's strange.
Yeah.
It's definitely strange.
I made that same transition.
Yeah.
I went from LA to New York, lived out there for a minute, and then I came here.
How does it feel for you?
I mean, I grew up out here when I was younger, so it was a pretty easy, quick like, I had friends out here, I had family out here, I had everything kind of, set up. Like,
yeah. I had some family out here. I think that's what's made the transition easier.
Right.
Because I think growing up, like, I moved around a whole lot.
Facts.
But I think it's so different moving in your 30s because, like, you always had, like, school or you had some kind of thing to, like, just be around, like, skateboarding.
Fall back on,
Yeah, for sure. But definitely, like, with the whole COVID thing, everything, it's definitely been
footing,
It's like, whoa, it's definitely disorienting. But to be honest, Phoenix it's really sick.
It's actually, a lot of people sleep on Phoenix, bro. It's like, it's to really, like, put it into perspective, like, moving around a lot. It's like the 5th fastest growing city in the U.S. Or no, sorry, it's the first fastest growing city in the U.S.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
It's the 5th biggest city in the U.S. in terms of population. So it's like it's getting up there, and like everybody always kind of act like, they always act like, ideally, like, they act like the Phoenix is kind of like on some bullshit. A lot of people ain't shit. But it's like, bro, try and name like the biggest cities in the U.S., bro. You got New York, L.A., Miami, and then like what are you left with? Maybe Chicago, maybe Well,
we're experiencing a shift right now,
bro. That's what I'm saying.
Big
I think the big cities, they're going to shit, bro. I mean, just on a mental health tip, like I just don't know how you can do it as a creative. Speaking from that kind of perspective, like I'm just not sure. Like, of course, there's a ton of people there, and there's huge communities for that stuff there, but the opportunities are becoming more and more limited, in terms of visibility. It's like, realistically, you got the internet, so you can kind of trap your shit out from anywhere.
Wherever you want.
And I'm starting to realize, like, if I got hip to this thinking like, all right, it's time to start maybe branch out a bit, I know other people are thinking the same thing too. And I'm speaking like specifically creatives. Yeah. I know in other worlds, like, people move here for work all the time, but
I mean, for me, LA was a mental health drain for me just because it's like the people, and I don't want to say that about all like people in Los Angeles, like the locals who was born and raised in LA is some of the coolest people you ever meet in your whole life.
It's the entertainment industry.
But like, you have like a massive amount of people who's moving there from Kansas City and wherever the fuck, middle America, like,
everybody's
every day.
trying to get there. Everybody's on the same mission.
Exactly. And that mission is like, fucking knock whoever down off the ladder to like climb up type shit. So
actually, I kind of wanted to take it like to the beginning with you, Josh, because I'm genuinely interested in as well. But just, I kind of want to talk about how like your come up and how you're able to work for yourself and how like your creative journey, and maybe just start off with like what even inspired you to be like, damn, like this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life, Well,
especially with that last bit, that's ever evolving. Like, I even think this weekend I'm going to start interning with like some architecture firm and just like, figure out a whole new venture. But yeah, man, I mean, my grandfather was a painter, so my step grandfather, I just found out. Was even my actual grandfather, but he was a painter. So I've just been around like art my entire life. And
You lived in the same house as him?
No, he lived in the Caribbean. He lived in Trinidad. So
Okay.
people are from Trinidad, and I was born in D.C. but moved to like New Jersey for a couple of years, then New York for a good chunk of like my childhood. And when I was there, man, I was always was drawing or making some shit. You know what I mean? Middle school, always like drawing, skateboarding logos or what? Yeah, just drawing all the time. And then especially in high school, I got really into painting, man. I got super into painting. I left home, ended up living in Richmond, Virginia, and just got really into like the music scene there. Especially and connecting a lot with like people on the internet through MySpace days. Like,
Were you heavy on that at the time?
I wasn't. I was heavy in the sense of like I was spending a lot of time curating my page and whatnot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Making it
learning
fly.
like img.src or some shit to like, I don't know. Were either of you ever on MySpace?
I was on
Yeah,
MySpace
hell
big. Yeah, I used to like stay customizing my pages.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
looking up
dude.
like how to copy and paste little
That's how I
like
first found,
SpongeBob's and
Tyler the
shit.
Creator. So for me, I found
Oh,
like,
true.
I
Yeah,
found
yeah.
Casey Veggies. I found Anwar Carrots.
Mm-hmm.
And then like that led me to Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
He was actually, bro, back in the day, Tyler the Creator was signed to something called Grind Time.
Mm-hmm.
This was back in like, he was probably 16 years old, but Grind Time Thomas Wardlow, he's a pro skater. He skated for Diamond Supply Company.
Oh,
He
yeah,
worked
yeah.
at Diamond Supply Co. Now he's like the head nigga at like Undefeated out here, but his history is just like, baffling. Like, he's super, he's a legend in like that scene. So
Definitely,
man.
man.
MySpace was really that shit for a lot of things.
MySpace is the
and,
shit,
yeah.
dude. I mean, in a way, I feel like the community I feel like I'm coming from, too, is like my 18-year-old self's MySpace friends. It's like now they're just internationally like in this position or
Bro,
doing
it's
this
crazy.
or doing that or doing that or doing that.
Yeah, the niggas I grew up around is like,
It's the same shit, right?
yeah.
It's so cool. But yeah, man, over the
So you kind of came up like you were born in DC?
born in DC, lived in New York,
went to Jersey, New
went
York.
to Jersey, then New York. Then when my parents divorced and my mom, my dad went back to the Caribbean, and my mom got a job in Virginia, so I moved there. And I think that's when I started to go even harder with like.
Was she encouraging during this time?
No, not
No?
at all. Absolutely not. She was a total Caribbean mother.
What was she more on? Like more
Oh,
of, like-
doctor, lawyer. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Just to
Steady, stable.
Yeah, exactly. Like steady, stable stuff. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't think she wasn't very supportive until like
She made
Oh,
it happen.
recent?
until I made it happen. Yeah, like literally until recently.
Okay.
Like with like more recent kind of jobs. I mean, the past few years. But now she's super supportive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like,
Right.
gotta
Facts.
prove,
Show and prove. Yeah,
prove to
African
mom.
parents is like
But my
that.
father
for
was
real, too,
always
yeah.
super supportive. My father's always been super supportive of the art. It's like, and I know my work style. It's like, oh man, I just go I go hard, man.
Mm.
But yeah, man, just touring a little bit. I originally worked with this guy named Lil Ugly Mane, who was a rapper that kind of introduced me to like the rap world a little bit. We were living together. I was kind of in and out of, homelessness or sleeping on couches or breaking up with this girl or whatever.
What was the goal at this time?
Survive.
Survive.
Like, I think, honestly, man, I think I was in survival mode for like the last like 15 years of my life until kind of like, more recently, to be honest.
Okay.
But there was no real intention. I guess I should take that back, man. I think the intention is just always actually to just like make it. I just know I want to make art and find a way to do this successfully. And I guess the last 20 years of my life have just been spent like figuring out how to make that happen.
Right. So you go through different like ventures. So you try like graphic designing, then maybe I'm gonna just really go hard with painting, or like maybe you're just trying everything and you're seeing what sticks to the
I
wall.
think it just whatever hat I woke up with that morning, man. Like, it's just in general, like, and not to quote Virgil, but it's like I feel like I'm a maker too, in that sense of like, all right, it's just it's this needs to happen. Like, I'll figure it out. I'll make that happen.
It's a feeling.
Yeah, because like, even like on a design tip, like I didn't even start designing until like 2018. So this is a more recent thing for me too. But I think it's the thing that's brought me the most success.
Right.
But
for those who don't know, like, are you comfortable with saying like some of the people you designed for? Like,
I can say some. There's some I can't say if it's gonna be public.
Right.
Yeah, but I work with like PlayBoi Carti, Don Tolliver, ASAP Rocky, Virgil Abloh, Louis Vuitton.
Because that's like kids' dreams. Like,
Oh, yeah.
for a lot of those people you named, that's like somebody who would be watching this. That's like, how can I make it? They're sitting there at their crib like, what the fuck? They don't know. They're trying like graphic design and all this different sorts of type of stuff. So
Yeah,
I like to like try to speak to those kids.
And man, I still feel like I'm one of those kids too. Like it's like such a blessing to have gotten to that place, but it's I feel like I'm still trapping like everyone else, man.
Right. Like, have you got like, after getting those big jobs and stuff like that, like, did you ever get a chance to like feel like the success? Like, did you ever like, okay, like, all right, this is what it feels like to make it? Or is it like,
Man, I think that's something I'm still trying to figure out, because it's success has so many different avenues. It's like, it just depends on what your idea of success is. And I think that's something I've struggled with, is understanding what success is.
I think even as a creative, bro, like, your job is never done. You feel me? Like, you feel success for like a millisecond.
Literally.
And then you're like, I gotta make more shit. I gotta,
Right.
On to the next shit. Like, because if you stay kind of in that moment of like, soaking in the success, it's like, it's gonna be here and gone tomorrow. Tomorrow, like, you gotta keep it going, like, bro. Like, I always say the easiest part is getting on, and like the hardest part is just maintaining that, and like staying relevant and continuing that, so.
right.
Yeah, that's true.
I've heard a lot of people say that. I mean, to be quite honest though, like, that is, I mean, if we look at all like the wealthiest people or anybody that we all look up to, like, individually, I feel like it is always going to be that constant, like, what's the next thing, or like
Right.
that constant state of just trying to get it, like hustling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think
I'm trying to lose that
forever.
hustling mentality, to be honest, man. Like, there's a huge part of me that, like, I guess that's what I was going to get to, is success has come with, actually, like, being able to work on myself. Because in a way, all of that was giving my time and my energy to other things or other people in the trade of, like, money.
Right.
And so money has helped me, like, money has given me the time.
Gave you freedom.
Yeah, in a way, exactly. But I've just, the success comes from, like, what I've chosen to do with that freedom, which is, like,
Work
moving
on
to
yourself.
Phoenix, fucking hiking, like, like exercising, just doing a lot of, like, self-work, man. And that, I've seen my stuff, like, going down runways. I've seen it on billboards. I've seen it in a lot of cool places. And kind of like what you're saying, it's like, bro, I almost felt nothing. It's just like, wow, that's cool. Next, like, just keep
What's
it moving.
next?
Yeah, keep it moving.
Yeah.
But now it's, I think when you're able to, like, find that balance of life not just being work, but work adding to, I'm kind of fucking up that phrase, but, like,
You're fine.
you're working to live versus living to work. And I
Right.
feel like I was consistently in a cycle of, like, just living to work, regardless of the situation. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get exactly what you're saying.
So-
Like, caught up in that same cycle. That's why you're kind of like feeling like you're trying to lose that whole, like,
For
hustle
sure.
bust,
But I also know I can get to the, I can
that's in
say
your
that,
repertoire
or-
now.
Well, for sure. But yeah, it's because of, like, that work that went in to get into those positions.
Right.
But I would be, I almost feel like someone else would have to speak for me on, like, as to how that happened, because it just naturally happened. I don't know how it happened. It's just, over the last 15, 16 years of just being around, you know what I mean? Everyone, at least in New York, everyone just known me as, I was just always working, constantly working, whether, I was cooking in this restaurant, and then end up, like, catering for friends who they happen to be DJs who know this person, know this person, know this person, know this person. So it was always, like, kind of just based on network. And through that network, it just kind of grew because I guess I'm very talented. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
feel like you're talented, and it sounds like consistency and
For
being
sure.
in like the right rooms. You know, like sometimes
Yeah, I think
that is
so.
like a dose of luck. But
But you know, as a designer, it's like maybe it is a bit about being in the right rooms. But I mean, Instagram played a huge part in that kind of like showcasing of artwork, and I could say
did it play a big part for you?
I think so. I mean a lot of the stuff in my early days comes from a record label I was a part of, but it was always about community, and we were building a community kind of through the internet, specifically with like black folks, right? So I guess I should also mention that it's like I specifically and almost consistently have just worked with black people, and over the last, I guess, 5 years, you know, kind of pre-Trump going into the Trump eras into what we're in now, it's like we've seen the rise of like Black Lives Matter, or just black folks having, you know, more visibility in these types of spaces, whether it be like luxury fashion or whatever. And obviously this is a thing that's continuing to evolve, right?
Right.
But I feel like at least on a community level, and in New York City, or, you know, some time I've spent in London, or, you know, even in LA, it's like I was part of that early stages of that growing, and now those people have now gone up to work with, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean? Whether that's branding or strategy, creative direction, art direction, stylist, you know,
But they
whatever
hold
it
these
is.
big positions, basically.
I mean, not even big, just like they're just in it, and they're
Right.
doing it. So, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily be big, but sure, on Instagram it probably looks big. They probably got a lot of followers now and stuff like that.
You know what? That's exactly what it is. That's exactly it's on Instagram. It looks big.
Yeah,
That's,
for sure.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
What it is. Yeah, I appreciate you just like giving out your story and.
Oh yeah, I
even,
mean, I
like,
appreciate
sitting
you
down
asking,
today.
man. I don't really talk about it that much. Just try to stay in the moment with it. You know what I mean?
On the go.
But it's cool to like reflect on it, because it's like, yeah, I kind of think about it like it's been a crazy couple years.
do you have a big support team? Because like who do you celebrate to? Like, you know what I'm saying, when you do something great. Like, do you have like people that
I got the family. You know what I mean? I definitely have colleagues, and then I have my friends for sure. So what's cool is that at least here in Arizona, like, I got the family, and I'm just happy that I know I have my friends in other cities. So if I want to go, you know, Chicago, or I want to go here, but like, always got the homies to kick it with there. But I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, the celebration has just kind of been like through FaceTime and shit lately. So, but it definitely, it's fine for now. You know what I mean? But I'm hoping to also cultivate that kind of like consistency here, because, you know, like I said, I think Phoenix is a really interesting place. It's definitely like I wouldn't say small. It's definitely not small. Maybe it is small. I mean, you would know better than me. But I feel like
It's getting
definitely
bigger and bigger every fucking day. I
But
don't
it's
know.
humble, and I feel like it's hungry too. You know what I mean?
I think it's very hungry. Yeah.
For sure. So I'm hoping.
Just to build something out of
Yeah, exactly.
your situation right now, basically.
For sure.
That was dope. I'm excited for that, honestly.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Shit, let's hop into some topics. Move this shit. So I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the topics were kind of mid today, but
I think the biggest topic that's happening the last week is Art Basel.
Art Basel. Yes.
You
Let's
know?
talk about it. I know.
I think that trumps everything else that, you know, has been going on in the last week and a half. So like, it starts basically, you had, you know, Virgil was here.
Has anybody been to an Art Basel?
No.
No, I haven't either.
I have on the back end of it though. I've just like installed like for booths. I used to work in like the
literally
gallery
set shit up.
section, but I never went as a person.
Attendee.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's a very, very thin line between who the fuck be going to Art Basel and, like, you know, I seen there's a couple like, you know, art buyer accounts and shit like that, you know,
Yeah.
who like kind of be making funny ass videos about it. You have like your art thoughts who be going out there. You got like the art fuck boys who be going out there.
There's a lot of
on like they daddy, and like the only niggas who really should be going out there is people who's actually artists who got like shit lined up in Art Basel, or people who's like going there on Larry Gagosian's private jet and like going there to really buy art and shit. You know, like the rest of that crowd is really just like there to see and be seen.
You know what?
But that's good though. That's a good thing.
Right, because of what they're appreciating.
It's like a Coachella now.
Well, think about it like this.
It used to be a very serious art market for buying and selling your art, and now it's kind of like, you know.
I think it's still serious, but it's like, think about it like this. It's like Studio 54, right? You got all you have the regular just, you know, common folk partying with fucking like.
And then you had the niggas who was stuck at the door who couldn't get in after.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
so it's like that's the whole economy right there. That's
right.
fucking capitalism at work.
Yeah.
You gotta have the people that feel like shit. You gotta have the people that feel good, and you gotta have people that are just happy to be there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest though, because like that is kind of true. Like, because I was thinking beforehand, I was like, me and Marco were kind of debating about like going to Art Basel and like just doing something. And after like we were texting today, you're like, yo, we should talk about Art Basel. Yeah. I'm looking shit up, and I see an article with gives a list of like all like the sick parties that went on, like Chanel, Gucci,
some of the
and shit.
gnarliest parties you ever fucking imagine.
I'm seeing the installments. I'm seeing it's fire as fuck. But I'm thinking that like, bro, how the fuck am I finna get in there?
No, you're like, to be honest,
you can buy a ticket. I can buy a ticket to go to Chanel show.
Oh.
Like not the Chanel show, the Chanel party.
Okay, I thought you like to go to the actual like
guest lists and shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about the after.
To go to like the exhibits and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's easy if you want to just go look at the art.
I know that.
It's like easy as hell.
But the fun shit to me is like
the parties, and some of the craziest parties of the year go down at Art Basel. You know, and you
gotta go down and just
you're bumping elbows with Leo and, you know, fucking Jeff Bezos and shit. Like, you know, you're not getting in. You get me? Like, I'm not getting in. You know, like
you could.
It's unless
you gotta swag it out, right? Like,
I think it's you think about it. Like that whole market it's a mingle market. You know what I mean? So it's like. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
Your swindling skills has to be like.
And it's Miami too, though, bro. Like
that's parties of the year going on. Yeah, it is Swindle City, but like some of the most exclusive parties of the year go down at Art Basel.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's like, you know, they're very, very, very fucking tight knit, like kept close. So like, you know, niggas is just not, you know.
And you know what? I didn't know it was. The last one was 2019. Obviously, it makes sense, but I thought that it just happened to be one. Like, I feel like it's been a long time.
Not just a year, just 1 year break.
Just 1 year break.
Yeah.
Well, COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. They were describing it like people were like they were ready to have fun.
Facts.
Like, a lot of people were at the
absolutely.
beach. Like it was like kind of like OD lit. But you're right. It started off with the Virgil Was Here collection, and shit. What'd you think about that collection?
It was just a great homage to Virgil, I think, you know. I think a lot of people was there as a result, you know, to pay homage to, you know, to Virgil. A lot of people was there for that show, you know.
It was packed.
Yeah, Cuddy did that tribute. He did, what was it, Moon?
I think it was Moon.
Yeah, he sang it, you know, in reverence to Virgil. You had, you know, Kim, Kanye, their daughter North there, like. From Row, you had a lot of people just coming out, like, you know, the Louis Vuitton doing a show at Art Basel is like the most Virgil shit ever, and actually he had plans to be there, you know, rest in peace. But
I can't believe they made that statue so quick. Like, I mean, I know the resources are crazy, and that kind of takes away from the subject a little bit, but I remember just seeing like the big ass Virgil statue. Right. Like, damn, bro, that was like,
that might have been planned beforehand.
I don't know whether or not it was, but nonetheless, it, you know, cemented it as kind of just, you know, like the ultimate tribute.
Right. No, I watched the show. I think we talked a little bit about at your crib, but I liked it. I liked. I even liked the clothes. I liked the collection. Right. Some of the pieces I've already seen before.
Yeah, it was. Well, they were re-showing the collection, but it was supposed to be. The show was originally supposed to just be a private show for buyers, I'm assuming. Oh, and they made it. I mean, I guess it's not technically public, but they obviously made it a larger thing.
Right.
With the circumstance, you know what I mean?
That was beautiful though, with the like all the drones. Virgil was here at the end. Everybody got to like flick up.
Yeah.
Then I seen like some sick shit on Instagram though. Like I like was scrolling. I was actually gonna send it to the chat, screenshot it and everything. But it was like some dude, and he's like got the champagne glass and like whatever, just like some like dress shirt, and he got like the Virgil.
Oh,
shit
I
in the
seen he
back.
tagged it. Yeah, I seen. I don't know who the
that?
fuck sent it to me. Yeah,
But,
I think it was you.
Yeah. It was basically this guy like he
did like a sponsored ad.
He sponsored his like picture. They paid for his picture to get. You know what I'm saying? On
No.
the feed.
Oh,
He paid. He sponsored the photo of him at the Virgil thing, like just to get like
that's
mad
important.
likes
That's
and-
obviously in poor taste, but you know you're gonna expect a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit. I know. I just thought that was funny at the time.
Right.
I was like,
That's
dude,
weird.
Steve's
That's
sick.
our Basel for you. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know anything else like sick that happened at Art Basel, or like anything that like?
So yeah, I mean, coming off like the heels of the 2019 one, like the biggest thing was like the banana duct tape to the
I'm about
wall.
to say, was there any bananas this year?
Yeah, with no bananas. It was a little bit like more, less conceptual, if you will, and a little bit more like some of the highest going pieces was actually like remarkable pieces of work from notable artists. So I mean, a lot of people did their thing. I seen like Jalil Zinga. He was out there. I know. Who's that other dude that Marco's a fan of?
Brent Giles.
Brian Giles.
Brian Giles.
He had like a exhibition there as well. Those are some of my personal favorites of of the people who have been showing, but
all the art they had like
all the art was good. Yeah, all the art was really good, and you had Alec Monopoly obviously out there. Just kind of basically just fucking throwing whatever the fuck out, and
Throwing
niggas
shit
like
out there.
just bidding for it. Like,
Wait, did anyone do NFTs there though?
yep,
there was some NFTs.
literally changed the landscape. There was a bunch of articles on how NFTs changed the landscape of how Art Basel, and really how the art market is going to function from here on
Oh,
out.
I
But,
bet, man.
yeah, there was a fuck ton of NFTs that was being sold.
That
Like
is
so
surprising.
many.
Really?
Like, yeah, record number of NFTs being sold.
Dog. That's
For-
I still don't know enough of that world to even speak on, to be honest.
Right. I mean, but for somebody who's a fucking billionaire, they go off of what they're hearing from like their art dealer.
For sure. Yeah.
Art dealer is like, yo, NFTs is a new way. They know how to sell shit.
Right.
They know how to sell shit better than any of us combined. Like, and they're all telling them NFTs is the new shit. NFTs is the future NFTs. So they're like, all right, I'll take tell like buy whatever NFT you think is gonna be
at
the
this
hottest
price.
commodity.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of NFTs did really good.
No, that's sick.
I just wish there was a banana moment though, man.
Right.
What's
Something
a
crazy.
Basel without a banana?
I mean, yeah, that art controversy, but it's still there. It's still there, but that one was almost like it was famous because it was such a hat.
No, for sure. I mean,
But then the other side of the debate
because
is
think
like,
about
was it a hack?
Wait, was that the same? But was the banana the same year that lady stabbed somebody? Stabbed the dude?
I'm not positive. I'm not sure.
Because that might have been the year
That
before.
shit
Like
was
someone
going
got
down
stabbed.
too?
Yes, either the year before or the same year. I can't remember honestly.
Yeah.
I feel COVID fucked my memory up. But yeah, this girl like she stabbed somebody and people thought it was art.
Oh,
they're wilding. Okay.
No, they literally thought it was art. It was like no,
performance art. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she like literally stabbed
murdered
somebody.
somebody. He ain't fucking.
That's some
playing.
Florida shit for you.
Cold blood.
Florida woman.
Florida as
Yeah,
fuck,
that's
yeah.
some Florida ass
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
for you.
That is true, dude.
Florida man strikes again.
Dude, I'm going next year. I'm doing something like
You should go. Yeah,
I'm
you should
either doing
definitely
that. I want to do like a Paris Fashion Week and just podcasts out there. I don't like.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not getting
that's
in-
the thing. That's the whole key. Is instead of going out there like how a lot of people describe like the rich fuckboy shit. Like going out there just to see what the
nice
fuck's going on.
restaurants and all.
Yeah, make it about your business or whatever it is, and like I would encourage this of anybody who's watching. If you got something going on, whether it's a brand or a podcast or whatever the fuck it is, go to these events and like try and make it worth your while. Like go out there ready to work, and you'd be surprised what you come away with.
Have fun.
Right.
Have
Josh,
fun.
have you been to a Paris Fashion Week yet?
Nah, I don't really go to anything.
No?
No. I wish I could be like, oh yeah, I've done this. Nah. I just work, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Honest, I have very little interest in going.
Is it just because like the whole like sedittiness of it, or
No, I mean I think it's nice. I'm just not really a party person, to be honest. Like I DJ'd a lot, so that was always like if I was gonna go out, like I'm DJing.
okay,
So kind of
gives you an excuse and like,
yeah, that's like my
fun.
excuse. Like get a little money, you know what I mean? But like, it's for me, it's all about the curation. And I think I got social anxiety, so it's like I don't like being around a lot of people at once, and I'm also quite empathetic, so it's like you're just trying to, you get around too many energies at once. It's
fucking melting pot, especially
dog,
in
it's
some weird ass
overload,
club or
bro.
some shit like that.
For sure. It's overload.
I love it.
You love
Yeah,
it?
I mean, but
fucking
you're
love it, bro.
That's awesome.
Bury me at Paris Fashion Week.
Hell yeah. I mean, that's sick.
What are some of your favorite Paris Fashion Week moments,
bury
or just
me
like
at-
something that you witnessed?
bury
you're like,
me at
bro,
Les
this is
Arcs.
sick. Like,
So all right, I'm gonna give you one. So I remember we went to this one restaurant. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it's connected to the biggest club in Paris. It's called Les Arcs.
who's we?
Me, Amir, you know, usual suspects. So it's called Les Arcs, and it's right by that big ass arc. That big circle where it's got that big, arc structure. You know what I'm talking about?
It's
I'm sure
like-
you've seen it.
I mean, I'm sure I've seen it, but I mean, I see all types of art from Paris. That's
Arc
like,
de Triomphe or some shit like that. Anyway, it's like a big monument in Paris.
I've probably seen it.
So Les Arcs is basically it's facing this big ass monument. It's like central Paris. They got a restaurant attached to it. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but we went to that restaurant. Spike Lee was there. Michael Jordan was there.
Oh,
All
shit.
of Team Jordan was there with him. I remember Jomo was at our table. Jomo got some of the best fucking pictures of his entire life just being at that table with us. Like, he flicked up Spike Lee front and center. He got the Michael Jordan picture. He got like,
Lit.
crazy pictures. So because we spent so much at this table, getting into Les Arcs is a fucking shit show. There's a crowd of people, bro, from like the sidewalk all the way to like across the street and further. It's just a fucking puddle of people. And because we like spent so much, I remember I told the waiter, I tried to finesse it. I'm always trying to press finesse.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I told the waiter,
And that's king.
yeah, I told the waiter, I'm like, yo, we was planning on going to Les Arcs after this. Like, after I left him a fat tip, I'm like, planning on going to Les Arcs after this. Like, is there any way we could just go through here? He's like, he kind of, calls the manager over. They, you see them kind of, he's like, come this way. So like they had an elevator that takes you directly into fucking Les Arcs from the restaurant. So we didn't even have to deal with the bullshit outside, right? Like the pick me, like, which is usually what you got to deal with when
Right,
you
you walk
out
straight
there.
in.
Yeah. So just the elevator took you straight in through the front door, and you walk in, and I swear it's like you walking into heaven's gates, bro. It's the baddest.
So
I
sick.
I swear on everything I love, bro. It's the most gorgeous women you've ever seen in your entire life, bro. Like 9 of them just at the front, right?
Yeah.
It's basically like you're going into a restaurant, but there's just like 9 like fucking beautiful women at the front door, just kind of like, do you have a table? Can I, help
Yeah,
you get
how
into
can
the
I help
club?
you?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like,
Y'all niggas need hot towels.
Bruh.
Y'all need some coasters. What
yeah,
y'all-
it's just like you died and went to heaven. It's insane. And then,
Was there like some crazy celebrities in there that night too? Or you guys
oh
just
yeah,
had a
it was
blast?
Rocky
Just
was performing, Skepta was in the crowd, just
Oh,
walking
okay.
around. Bari was there. Everybody that you could basically name is at Les Arcs. Like Les Arcs always has the illest party, like to set Paris Fashion Week off. Like
Okay.
it's always the first one, and
So
like
that
they
was-
always got the ill performer. It's always just some crazy shit. Yeah, Carti, like everyone you could basically name was there.
If I could make a perfect like KHALID scenario, that would be it.
Oh,
Like,
bruh.
I know you was in your element. You're like,
Nah, bury me there. Nah, for real, bury me there. Like
that's actually fire.
underneath
though.
Les Arcs.
No, that's fire.
I'm gonna die with this fucking smirk on my face.
That's fire.
And the cigarette,
Yeah.
ash it out.
What
And
year
then-
was that? Was that like?
I think that was 18. But like, you also got like, there's a club there called Silencio, and like one of my first designs that I ever made, this purple silk shirt, is based off Mulholland Drive. the movie by David Lynch. So in that movie, there's like basically the climax of the movie where everything changes. They go to this club called Silencio, and David Lynch has a club called Silencio in Paris, his club. So you go in and it's like, I can't even describe to you what it looks like, bro. It's insane. You go down like 3 levels of stairs and it's all black. It looks like you're basically at like a science fucking like emporium or some shit, right? Like, you know when you would go to a science fucking
little fair kind of thing. It's like a super, like, it's almost like an infinity
it's
kind
all
of room,
black,
like,
yeah. And it's like you're just going down these black ass fucking levels. And there's like pictures of like David Lynch's like most like, you know, triumphant moments. And you go down, there's a fucking movie theater in there. There's a whole smoking room in there. And you got these weird sculptures. And if you know anything about David Lynch, you know like him and weird exist in the same sentence. So it's just like, it's too difficult to even explain. But like the illest, just like the coolest fucking place you've ever been. And, you know, the women everywhere you go is just insane. And, you know, you leave the club at 4 a.m. There's like no closing time. You know, you leave the club at 4 a.m. and every cafe is still open. You know, you go get a bottle of wine. Go get a bottle of wine. Go get some food. Go get whatever the fuck you want. Like, it's, you know.
Yeah. No, that sounds tight. That's honestly crazy.
But you like, if you're doing Paris, do you ever go like do London Fashion Week?
I've never been to London Fashion Week, but I go to London often. I was born out there. I got a lot of family.
I love London, man.
Yeah,
love London.
But I never did London Fashion Week yet.
Not me either. I haven't done like the only one I'd ever really go to is New York, just because proximity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of popped in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take a look. Maybe I DJ something, but yeah, most of the time, dude, I just was back in the cut, bro, working.
When you were out in London, you're saying?
No. I didn't go to London Fashion Week. I would just. I'm just
Have
saying,
you been
like,
to London in general?
Yeah. I used to go out there fairly often. I was dating a woman out there, and so yeah, we were traveling back and forth. But
That's bottle.
The what? Oh, The only reason I asked that is just because I've been like mad into London, like just rappers,
bro,
and different, like
that's what I'm
grime and
saying,
shit.
man.
So like,
I love it.
Is it like a different little culture from Paris that you can feel the absolute difference? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's English
100%. And you got so many like, all right, so you have a gigantic like Indian and Pakistani community who lives in London, so that's completely different. And then you also have like a lot of Jamaicans for some reason live out there. A lot of Jamaicans and a lot of Nigerians live out there. So it's like super multicultural, you know? And so, you know, it's I would call it a night and day difference between, you know, Paris and London. More so in the fact that you just have like this melting pot of cultures. And not to say you don't have that in Paris, but like you have so many, it's just.
I'd say Paris is more a lot of African influence.
A lot of Parisians. You have your base of Parisians, obviously. So the food is phenomenal, things like that. You have a lot of like Albanians live out there. So like Arabic actually gets me around out there. They're different. I also feel that heavy sense of like African influence in London as well, though.
Oh, absolutely. You know?
Yeah,
all fucking West Africa, man.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm also speaking from just like South London, East London. Like I wasn't really messing around with like, Center City or this stuff's in the ends, isn't it?
Yeah. Let's do a topic change and talk about. I wanted to talk about Demna in general. Like we have Demna name change on the topic list, and he changed his name to straight Demna, but. I mean, I feel like what's more exciting is just like what he's done this year in general, and us coming like close to the end of the year. I mean, to me, he's had like the biggest impact as far as like his brand and what he's done, and like even merging. I know you don't know too much about like the whole MetaVerse and all that weird shit, but I mean, you probably seen like the Fortnite collab he's done.
I personally didn't. The only thing I saw was the Simpsons shit.
The Simpsons, okay, but shit like that.
I saw that. I was like, that's. Amazing. I thought that was so cool.
Bro, he's a kid at heart. That's like what it boils down to. He's a kid at heart. I actually
was reading an article today, and it was just a short quote, but I feel like it spoke a lot. It was like, he was saying he's not interested in anything average and not even the average consumer. So it's like,
right.
I mean, that summed up everything for me.
But isn't that what every designer usually says about themselves? Or like every artist usually says about themselves? Or like, you know?
You know what? I mean, I'm sure like some do, and I don't know, like every artist, but
I believe it when Demna says it.
right. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, repeat. What did Demna say?
He said he's not interested. Damn, I just had it.
He's not interested in like just like
The average consumer.
Yeah. He's not interested in like average things, so he's also not interested into the average consumer.
But I feel like that's what his stuff is.
But he is an average thing.
Exactly.
Whether
I mean,
it's Simpsons or DHL or
for sure, yeah.
fucking-
He consistently is constantly referencing that. I mean,
Yeah.
he references the
average, the
most
mundane.
average.
Literally
Yeah.
the mundane.
But
I
I
mean-
think what he's saying is like putting that Balenciaga with that. Like that's not average, you know? Like it's so not like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. Why
exactly.
Is he
You're
doing
mixing the high with like the complete average.
totally.
You know,
Right.
Fortnite even. You know, like you know you
Wait,
the two
explain to
don't
me the
exist.
Fortnite shit. I'm actually super interested.
They did a Fortnite collab.
that? So
But
yeah,
what does
he,
that mean though? Like
Yeah,
some
he-
T-shirts, or they did the fucking dance? Like
he dropped like some hoodies, some t-shirts, and I think like a whole character. Am I right, Denzel? Balenciaga collab?
Yeah, they just have like two options with male and female and their own custom Balenciaga outfits.
oh, okay.
And,
And a lot.
they
You
did-
can
they
spend
did
your
this-
own money on it.
They did this
Yeah.
gigantic ad in Times Square where it's like this random ass bulldog in like a Balenciaga fit, and he's just like takes up this big ass space, like you know.
Yeah.
Love it.
And yeah, it's just weird.
It was like a
you know?
3D illusion kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
He like
yeah.
hops out the
Dude,
billboard.
he, needs to,
but,
he needs to get on some shit with Snapchat.
man,
You might be surprised, but you might have just predict the future.
There we go. 'Cause
But-
I feel like that's some average shit, right?
Right. Yeah, I think that's the thing, bro. Like whether it's he did a whole runway show with like McDonald's as a backdrop, and like he did accessories with, like you know them old McDonald's cups. Like he's Russian, right? So
Yeah.
like he references like a lot of his like Russian childhood and a lot of his shit. You know, he went to school in Antwerp, but you know he references kind of just that like rave culture heavily. You know, just like
Well,
But
it's
then
just,
he
it's
also-
just post-Soviet. It's just post-Soviet culture, which is just like
exactly right.
fucking rough, man.
Yeah.
It's so rough.
Yeah.
but it was a big thing too when he relaunched Balenciaga Couture. Like I remember that just getting a lot of publicity, and a lot of people were kind of, I don't know. I didn't know how big Couture was until that happened. You know what I'm saying? And then I really started learning about it. I'm like, oh shit, this is like basically your artsy fartsy way of saying like I can do the fucking sickest shit.
Oh yeah. Well, because the DHL stuff, that was all like Vetmont, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Vetmont. That was when he was the head of Vetmont. That was even before he was hired at Balenciaga, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the Vetmont stuff to me is what got him into
The doors there.
That
right?
Balenci,
weird shit.
Balenci, yeah.
Oh, the Balenci shit, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. Are you familiar with like Martine Rose?
Yeah.
So I remember there was an interview, like my homegirl interviewed Martine Rose, and she was talking about how Demna got her like in, you know,
In the door.
into, I believe Balenciaga.
Right.
But I just know, anyways, I have to find the podcast. But it was a great interview, and at least gave me some more insight into like how did Demna even get into these spaces as well. Because
It was Vetmont.
no, but even before Vetmont, because
Yeah.
obviously Vetmont was a nice collective, and I think everyone in that collective has gone on. Well, I guess they're all doing a lot of stuff
But
with Balenciaga too.
he built it from fucking nothing. You know, like when he started Vetmont, it just made so much noise out the door that, you know, like,
That's sick.
you know.
What was the time frame that Vetmont started?
I think it was around 2014.
Yeah.
Was when I really started seeing it. You
That's-
saw
yeah,
like
that's when I
you
first
saw
saw it.
Kanye and his silhouettes were just like brand new. You've never seen it. It was crops, big sleeves, long sleeves, but cropped. Like it would just look different, you know. So you had a lot of people kind of like, you know, he started getting accounts, and that's what happens with a lot of these brands. Like even ERD, you know, like his first account was Browns, and this shit just looks so different that, you know, you would see it in tabloids and shit. Like, you know, Jared Leto would go to Brown. He'd be in London. He'd go to Browns. New brand ERD. The people would sell him on it, and he'd walk out with literally every single piece from Enfant. And like, you know,
You lit from there.
yeah, and it's lit from there. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, you're in every publication. Your shit is everywhere, you know. And that was the same with Vetmont. Kanye started wearing it. Lord started wearing it. All these people, you know. So then it's just like more accounts want you. More people want to buy your shit. And, you know, it all starts with just like really, in my opinion, organic brand placement. Once you get a good account and these solid accounts start just kind of selling your shit to like, celebrities, and they like it and they just buy your whole collection, then it's like,
You're lit.
Right.
you're off.
Josh, have you had any brands, or like, do you have any?
Oh,
like,
myself?
Yeah. Like, have you ever started a brand and like maybe like, there's a lot of
Me by
stories.
myself? No. I've definitely been toying with the idea lately, because more so because I have the money or the funding to do it now.
Right.
But it's the same shit with fashion. Like, I never expected to work in fashion. I never expected any of this shit to happen.
I mean, at the beginning of this podcast, you were saying you're about to just start hanging out with some like as a design intern. Like, you're about to start
I want to
design.
like
whatever.
I want to
Yeah.
get into like interior
Architect.
design, architecture. I just want to keep expanding, man.
Right.
Because I guess, also I think it's like moving to Phoenix too, seeing how this place is expanding and the rich history Phoenix has with architecture, with like Frank Lloyd Wright, obviously, his school being here and stuff like that. And you see it going through Tempe, or you see it going through Scottsdale, obviously Phoenix, the older neighborhoods. Like, that shit is amazing. It's fucking cool. It's like, that's sick history. So yeah, I mean, and I just feel like as I'm getting older too, it's a little bit of like a more, I don't want to say sophisticated thing, but it's just
It's
it's
like
just
the next
interesting.
step, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's the next step. Well, because I had designed a restaurant back in Midtown, New York, and I think after doing that, I was like, okay, that was really fun. Like, maybe just keep expanding doing that, because I'm kind of finding, like, obviously fashion is, I don't know if it's in a weird place or not, but I feel like COVID is actually 100%
Change the
shifted
status
it. Like,
quo.
It's in a weird place. you
Yeah.
know? It's in a weird place between what's commercially viable and what's like creatively
acceptable.
fulfilling, So it's like, it's in a weird place. A lot of people who could really like go full throttle with what creatively fulfills them kind of like put that on the back burner for like, what will sell, what'll do well, what'll make them money. Because at a certain point, you got a business to run,
It's a balance.
So yeah, with architecture and things like that, it's like full just creative fulfillment for people who's really into that, world. So
No, for sure. Well, I feel like, if I don't know what the next few years, obviously this thing's not going to end for a while.
right.
And in the major cities or just like the consumers of like luxury fashion, like, you're always going to have people who buy it.
Right.
But on that larger market, to me, I guess people are going to just start flaunting their houses more, like where their spaces more. I mean, they already do that.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of focus in that in that regard. But clothes are always going to be important.
I think Virgil was a prime example of that.
I
too.
hear what you're saying, though. I know what you're talking. Like,
You get what I'm saying?
no, I feel.
Virgil, like, even after he had like, the world in his palms, right? He was like, he still wanted to get creative fulfillment elsewhere. So he did like a full, exhibit with Chicago Art Institute.
Oh, did you get that book? I only have the book. I never got to actually see it.
I didn't get to actually see it, but you saw he was doing a lot more like, actual like museum
For
curated
sure.
space. He was doing more artwork.
Or just like object making and stuff like that. Like,
Object
obviously the
making,
furniture,
exactly.
stuff
Yeah,
like that.
even
yeah.
with Louis Vuitton, I remember he did like one of the illest moments I think for him was he had that thing where it's like, if you stand right here and like you look at a specific place, it was in New York City, and like you looked at it from a specific angle, there was like this big ass like Louis Vuitton statue he made, and like if you saw it from the specific angle, it just like
That's so
everything
cool.
kind of hit.
Damn, I
perfectly.
didn't know about that. That's actually
Yeah.
super sick.
So there's a lot of things. He was doing the DJ sets. He was like, you're just trying to find creative fulfillment. I think that's like the fine line that a lot of like real creatives kind of juggle with. Is like even if you're making a lot of money, sometimes it's just like I want to do this shit. I want to do this shit. Like
I mean,
Right.
yeah, but the money just keeps making more freedom.
sure, yeah, yeah.
Right. So you're able to do more shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Makes
it's like a blessing and a curse, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just your head being so full
Well,
of
they
shit.
keeps you young too. It's almost like 100% blessing. I feel
Facts.
because like when you're like creating new shit, or just let's say someone who's not creative and who's just like they want to learn just new different ventures throughout life. Like fucking old dude wants to do taekwondo now. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure he's gonna live like longer keeping his brain fresh and
Facts.
him.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely, man. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think that as well.
Stay young.
Stay young, brother.
Yeah.
My computer's at 10%. I'm gonna call it the end of the podcast. I appreciate y'all
hell yeah,
for
man.
coming through. Thank you. Any last thing y'all want to say, or any last topics that was like fire?
I'm gonna reiterate. Stay young.
Stay young.
Stay young.
Stay young.